Well, how do you say it?
Go ahead. What do you mean?
Start it. I want people to see the reality. Who's going to start it? You or me?
It's usually me that starts this whole shit.
Why would it be like usually me? Why can't we change it up?
All right. Well, go ahead.
Why do you have to start? Why do you have to start it?
Go ahead and start it up. Go ahead.
This is Carla Araujo here with my host, AZ Araujo. Welcome to Do the Work.
All right. What's going on, everyone? This is AZ Araujo alongside with my sidekick,
with Carla Araujo.
With Do the Work podcast. Of course, I want to remind you to subscribe, rate, and review on your local podcast provider. And today we have a very interesting show because I think a lot of marriages go through this, right? And that is navigating through the storm. And when I say storm, I mean like attitudes, the ups and downs, right? The one day, you guys are best friends. We're best friends. The next is like,
you're my worst enemy.
Worst enemy. And there was a lot of lessons learned here over the last few days, Carla. This is something that we were very used to back in the day, where self-doubt and somewhat borderline depression, high anxiety would riddle our relationship. And that would typically come from your side of it, right? It would come from your side. And, I didn't do anything to really assist that process.
I think it was hidden for so many years. I never really told you about it. So I think I just thought,
yeah.
You just thought I was just crazy and some other stuff was going on in my head. And she's just in a bad mood or she doesn't want to talk or whatever the reason may be. But I don't think that you correlate it with she has high anxiety and depression.
Yeah, deeper issues. No, yeah. I don't think men do that. I mean, we hear bad attitude. My wife has a bad attitude. She's in a bad mood. And it's real easy just to say, hey, you're making yourself feel this way. What we don't understand is that there's a history. There's something behind the scenes that triggered this emotion. And now it's creating, chaos or a storm within the relationship. I think
even myself, I didn't know that I even had anxiety and depression, and because there was points in my life where I wanted to really start digging deep and finding who I truly was or who I was, or kind of digging into my past. And I refused to go there because the deeper I was going in there, the more I would want to find more about me, simply by asking myself better questions. It was hard because I just didn't want to go to that dark place. I just was so afraid to be there. So let alone if I couldn't be there, I couldn't tell you what that dark place was or even show you that. So you were always like, well, why are you so moody? Your personality changes from one day to the next. And it was just really hard to find me. And when I did, it became even harder because I couldn't, I don't know. I was so afraid to go to that dark place and truly get to know where my fears and doubts and my depression, my anxiety came from. And when I did get there and I tapped into it and I wanted to stay there for days to discover more about me, it just became colder and colder. And you were always trying to reach out and say, let me help you. And it was like, you can't help me. You just have to really leave me in this moment and try to figure my shit out, And
I like what you just said. You're afraid to go to that dark place. And I think all that really happens is that it just prolongs the time you're actually there. When you're afraid to go there, you're stuck in between, decisions. You're in this in-between state, this maybe state.
It becomes shameful.
And you prolong it.
It's embarrassing. It's shameful. I didn't want to go there. I was ashamed of who I really was. I was embarrassed. And when I would go there, it was just like, well, I've gotten this far. I've succeeded this far. So like, why
keep pushing?
Why keep pushing that? But it felt like over the years I was just drowning more and more. And it was just, and unfortunately,
there's a lot of collateral damage.
I can't say sorry to you because I brought you with me. And man, when we would have met, when you would have said, hi, I'm so-and-so, and we would have met, imagine me, I said this on the last video I made, unzipping my skin and being like putting all these emotions on you.
You would like vomit all over me.
Well, yeah, I would vomit. You would have.
And that's when guys usually typically say when somebody's honest like that, they're like, she's got issues.
She's got issues, right?
All they're really doing, like, guys, if you're dating and somebody tells you that, they're being honest with you. They're like telling you the truth. These women are telling you the truth, and you're falling for the one that's a little sneakier, that is able to hide it for years.
If you
marry her. You marry her, you have a couple kids, and all of a sudden, this crazy woman comes out when in reality, it was always there.
She's been crazy since you met her.
So I'm doing a little like a public announcement
and
here.
I do want to say,
hold on, let me finish this.
The same thing goes for men, though, and I don't like to use the word crazy. Let's take that word back.
Let me go back to
and
this.
that's all jokingly too, by the way.
No, but that is true. I mean, I just thought about that. That's showing your truth. You know,
right?
They're unafraid to show their truth.
Yeah.
And some men just can't take it, thinking that they have issues, when in reality, the next person you meet just hides it a little better. And they're hiding behind these skins, these masks. And it's like, hey, at least you know the truth when somebody goes out and really reveals himself like that. I think that, like, for me, that would have scared me the hell away.
It's true, because why would you come into a marriage and be like, man, I married somebody who's just off the wall? You always come into the marriage and being like, if you always hear those relationships,
nice.
Oh, I met this wonderful woman. She's on point. She takes care of herself. She's amazing. She does this for me. She's so sweet. She's so just has my back, has, all these things. Well, of course. Why would she be the opposite of that? You wouldn't marry her.
Yeah.
So the same thing goes with a man. It's like, man, I met the greatest man.
Only
he's
to
so
know he's
patient.
abusive and condescending.
He's very loving. He's
all
changed
these things. After you marry, he's changed.
Yeah, and then it's
like they never change. People don't change like that. What ends up happening is they reveal more of their truths. And they always give key indicators, though. There's always key indications.
And we refuse
little
to,
moments.
Yeah,
like I had an attitude problem. I would lose my cool quickly.
Oh, do we have a little time? Can I talk about this?
Okay, hold on.
Funny moment.
Listen.
I want to talk about the dog when you
okay.
pushed my dog under the couch. I should have caught on to that.
Oh, I think I chased your dog. I just couldn't catch him because he peed on my leather jacket.
I was like, you have some
a leather jacket. Yes, from Wilson's.
I'm like,
yes, from Wilson's. It doesn't matter.
What am I doing?
No, I think your cat, your roommate's cat peed on it.
It was my roommate's cat that
and
peed on your jacket.
Did something else, and I chased him.
You became a whole new person, and that was a key right there. I'm like, I'm dating someone who is
impatient
and angry, but
I would hide that. I guess I would hide that a lot.
Well,
I don't know.
And not only that, I'm still attracted to you,
I'm
but
sexy
man,
looking.
you were just like,
yes.
dang, like I have to overlook that, like that attitude, because your looks.
I'm a good-looking guy.
The package was like on point.
Body's on point.
And that was you without a beard.
That was me with a little puppy. Like my daughter says, Dad, you look naked. When I show her any pictures without my beard, Dad, you look naked. But, here's the thing. Like, I love that we're going down this subject because it's the truth. It's not as simple as you're having you're in a bad mood or have a bad attitude. There's a trigger point, right? There's something that has thrown you off your game. And I think every human being goes through that. Some people just do a better job of hiding it and sedating it. Right. Whether it's through, not facing the issues in their marriage or overworking themselves, overworking out themselves, drinking, drugs, all sorts of things. There's ways to either hide it or sedate it. But when you have to live in the truths, you have to face these real problems like you and I did. And it was tough, Carla. Like, yeah, there was a lot going on in my mind as I'm having to deal with this energy, and you carry this immense energy, and I think I do too when I'm not in my on my game. Well, this is the thing,
though. It was a bomb that was going to set off. It was just ticking throughout the years because you had a very impatient attitude that you've obviously told about yourself. You're very impatient. You're very angry. You had all this background that I didn't know about. And then there was me who had all these things that were going on you didn't know about. And then we come into this relationship, and it really is a ticking bomb. It's about to blow up.
Something's gonna go down.
Yeah, and you just don't know when it's going to blow up. Maybe a year, 10 years, 12 years, 20 years, 40 years. And so that's exactly what happens, just ticking, ticking, ticking. And after, 16, 17 years of us together, it was just like, okay, this is going to blow up. And it sure did. It just blew up. And then what we started doing, the phase was like, your fault, no, your fault. You made me feel this way. It was just like blaming and pointing. And because of you, Carla, you set the energy. So when you're talking to me in a condescending, angry, impatient way, and I'm already a ticking bomb, you just made me feel like I had to defend myself. And with all these years of like going through what I did with them, with just males that just took advantage. And I saw this male in front of me, and the first person that when I stepped into my power, I was like, cool, I have all this power inside of me, and I'm going to now come at you hard. And you were like, where is all this coming from? So,
well, look, here's the thing. Like, as you're going through this place, right, of your darkness, or you're refusing to stare at or to face, I think the common mistake that we make in a marriage, or I think men make in a marriage, is that they become the target And I think that's what I did for many years. It's like I would say something for you
Right.
to take the focus off you having to deal with your problems to now me becoming the only problem.
Right, and
And I can tell I
yeah.
can tell when it's kind of going that way because you're not a person to blame. That's not your nature. That might be my nature, right? To like find fault in someone for doing something. I mean, I try to work on that.
And that's what I mean. When we were
But-
when the bomb went off, all we did was blame each other. And I don't think I blamed so much as you were like, you put me in this space, so I was lost.
No, but I'm talking just recent. Like that's the whole thing too. It's like
Right. I mean, we're moving into the recent now. But
okay, yeah, that is the history of it. It's like I became the target because I made myself the target.
Right.
I would say something. I would say something about your attitude. I would say something about your what's going on with you. Look at you're shutting down. And now it was like I become this villain, which means I have a target to blame. So whenever you men do that, like husbands or even wives, but I'm talking to you men because I can only talk from this perspective. Is this is going to happen in any marriage. I mean, someone's going to be up, someone's going to be down. And when you both are up, that's awesome. When you both are down, it gets ugly, right? But for the most part, we want to be able to be where one partner is in power versus the other, right? It's just so we can kind of navigate through this whole process. But the issue escalates when you become the target. So something happened this week for us that kind of allowed you to find your space, right? Mm-hmm. Which was I gave you space. Mm-hmm. And what it ended up happening is like when you were ready, like I was there.
Right.
And that never happened before.
Right. So where are you going with this?
Well, I'm saying like this is the way what we learned through this entire process.
Oh, okay. I see. Because I'm like,
do you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Because before it was like I would become the target, and all that would happen is just we would just delay for you discovering that dark
Well,
place.
in these last couple of days, you got to start from the beginning because I'm pretty sure the audience is kind of like lost. But
I didn't lose them.
Well, because I didn't know you lost me because I didn't know where you were going.
Well,
with it.
you weren't paying attention.
I was paying attention. I always pay attention.
You were twiddling the paper or whatever you have in your hand.
Paper gone.
Oh, paper gone. Okay, now we're on the same page.
So in the last couple of days, I've been in a funk. And I've been off my game, and I felt like I don't know, I woke up and I felt I was sick, and the sickness turned into my body being sore.
Yes.
And then looking at myself in the mirror and being like I'm not feeling all together. My hair's not coming out. My makeup, it just about me, I felt like this ugliness, this look that I saw in the mirror, and it was just a reflection of myself.
Your thoughts.
Yeah, just the thoughts that were creating and escalating to one thing took me to the next. And then I came out of the bathroom and I started just kind of having little snippy attitudes with you. And there was a moment, if you would really pay attention to some of the things that I was telling you, I started to kind of stab you a little bit, without you even knowing that I was stabbing you.
Oh, I knew it.
And you were taking all this heat, and it was just like, you know what? I'm going to now allow you to take your space and find yourself. So you did. You kind of stepped aside. It was very uncomfortable for a couple of days.
Uncomfortable.
Because you were very quiet. I was very quiet. And I told you multiple times, hey, I need my space. It's not against you. I'm just trying to figure things out in my mind. I've taken myself to a very dark place, and you cannot take me out of it. I don't think anyone can. So you just need to give me some time and some space, which you did. You weren't trying to fix anything. You did.
No, here's what I want to do. I was actually protecting myself.
But I know.
But
this is the thing. Back in the past, you were always trying to fix it, and you were always trying to come up with a
I got
solution.
angry at you. I became resentful. I became hateful.
Right.
I became just spiteful.
Right.
Of this situation.
So, and then I wasn't honest in the past. I wasn't honest where I was like, hey, I'm going through a little funk. I need you to stay out of my way. I was always just moody, up and down. And now it's like, hey, just to let you know, I just came out of the bathroom. I'm very honest now. I'm going through a funk and I'm in a very dark place. Kind of stay away from me. And you were like, okay, I got this. But you were, I guess back in the days, it was like, it would last months, and now it's just last a couple of days. And
it would last months, yeah.
But it is uncomfortable. I mean, I can only imagine in a relationship when you're not honest, or you're thinking it's just something that's not a big deal. She's just in a bad mood, or he's in a bad mood. It's like, it's a funk. And if we were just truly honest, like, hey, I'm going through a really ugly time right now, just stay out of my way. But it's hard in a marriage because you live with the spouse. They're in the same bed.
I think
it's
you know, it's
hard.
important for us to, like, for me, I needed to, because I was going down this.
It has to be draining for you guys.
It was.
And that's what I'm saying.
So
and
listen,
I'm
I was
very
going,
honest. I know I had to
I was going
drain
down
you.
this path again of being like resentful, and I didn't want to be there because you know, I love you. You're like my queen. You're the mother of my children, my best friend. And I didn't want to have these feelings of resentment, spitefulness, and hatefulness and all this other stuff. So, you know, giving you that space almost protected my mind from going into a negative space.
And I even told you, I was very honest. I was like, I remember telling you this in the kitchen. I'm like, hey, take care of you. Just leave me alone in my space. And I remember being honest with you because I didn't want to take you down with me. But I wasn't going to.
I don't think it was a permission type of thing. I saw this coming.
I know I didn't give you permission. I just wanted you to understand that you weren't going to hurt my feelings by completely disappearing.
No, and that's the thing. So
we both had to be on that same page, and I was completely on that page. Now, what I wasn't going to do is hide myself by
pretending that
okay. I'm okay and kind of having a bad mood here and there. No, I'm like all in into loving me more than I love you by telling you, hey, I'm going through really bad, ugly fucking funk. Get out of my way. And you're like, okay, cool. And so it was, but it's hard to do that. Because we live in the same house, we sleep in the same bed, we have to talk to each other. We're in the same business.
We had a couple volleyball games.
We carry our kids together. We run the same business where we have to still talk.
Right.
And so I'm still going to show up to work. I still have to run a company. So, but the good part about it is like you don't take anything offensive. Like it's not towards you. It's not against you.
I can't say I don't take it 100% offensive because I do. Because
before
it's like because some of the thoughts,
it was like if you're in the office, I'm not going to be in the office.
Yeah, no, that's true. So we were able to still function. Everything's good, but you know, part of me still feels like, okay, a whole weekend's going to be ruined. Like on, I don't even know what, right? So there's that thought process too. So it really did come down to the communication of like, hey, this is where I'm at, because that's you told me straight up, hey, listen, you even sent me a text. And me understanding that it's not against me, although, I mean, ideally, I would like for us to be getting along. I would like for us to be laughing and holding hands and doing things that, you know, we enjoy together. But I also have to understand that, hey, I'm in that place too sometimes. And it's unfair for me to expect something from you if I can't be there 100% of the time. That would just feel like that would be entitlement. That would be unfair. And I get it. So there's a part of me that wants to go down this, you know, this slippery slope of you know, bad feelings and ill will. But then I just had to kind of step back. And that's exactly what we did. And we spent the whole day, a day and a half, that was just very, very uncomfortable for the both of us. But the growth is in what? The growth is in us not doing that for months at a time.
Right.
Because now you're able to face your dark.
Being dishonest with each other of feeling like everything's okay and everything's not okay.
Because when we were dishonest, all that did was prolong the time we were actually there. Yeah. Because there was a lot of pretending.
And then, you know, it goes with the same thing where you can tell a lot of your coaching clients, hey, allow yourself to feel this way. But then when it comes to your spouse, I think I even told you this. I'm like, you tell people allow themselves to feel this way, but then when it comes to me, you want me in the space that you're in. You're constantly want me up, but it's like, but how can you tell someone to allow them to be in this space and then yet when I'm in this, like, allow myself to be in the space, you're like so angry with me. I'm like, you can't be angry with me. I'm allowing myself to feel this way. So I stand up for myself now, because back in the days it would be like, okay, I should be happy. He's going to leave if I'm not happy. I have to make sure I put this mask on and then run to the closet at night and just cry. And it's like, no, now I'm like, get the hell out of my way. And you're like, okay, cool. So, and I can't help being that person because I feel so much better and so free to allow myself to feel the way I'm feeling.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I remember we towards the end of all this, there was something that happened, and I caught myself, you know, because it's like, okay, we're out of this funk. Oh, no, we're not, because this just occurred. And I think the first words that wanted to come out of my mouth was like, you're not really committed to like what we need to accomplish. You're not really committed to what you want to do. And I know you don't want me to feel that way. But I was going down that road, and it was like this self-talk. This is where it's good to understand where the other person's at, because again, we all go through it. And what she didn't need is for me to give up on her and say, you're not committed, because that's far from the truth. I called you and I said it, and I told you, this is the conversation we had yesterday, was like, I didn't have to go that route. There's an alternative to saying, I'm not committed. All she really needs is just my support and say, hey, we'll try it again tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Like, take your time, take your space. That's all that you really needed, because we were going down the slippery slope again of
right. And
saying words like that.
When we were on that phone, on the phone yesterday, I remember, and you would have told me that the old me would have just...
You're right. I don't need to do this.
You're right. I'm not going to do this. F everything. Like, I'm done with this shit. I would have turned into this attitude problem. And so then you would have been supporting that attitude problem, and you would have been like, okay.
Self-sabotaging in
so
relationships.
We would have gone nowhere. So instead, when you were telling me that, I knew you were having a moment of frustration. So I have to understand, if I put myself in your situation, being a man and watching my wife going through this, man, I even said this to you, you have to have so much patience to be married to me, and I'm sure a lot of men go through this, the power you have to hold back. But when you were telling me that, forget all this, you're not committed, I knew that you were just having a moment of letting your frustration out, and I knew you didn't mean any of that. So I'm like, and I didn't say anything to you. I was quiet. I'm like, okay.
Well, there was so much
more.
more.
I will see you.
Because I actually called you. I was actually calling you to tell you more of what I was feeling.
Right. So in other words, when you were calling and telling me all this, I didn't take that to offense, because I had to allow you to feel the way you were feeling. Yeah. I had to give you that space.
I didn't lash out. I just said, hey, like this is too much for you.
So you weren't supporting, because you were just saying all these things. So I was just like, okay, he didn't really mean all this. And then within like less than 5 minutes, you called me and you said, you know what? I know you're committed. I know you're all this. Why don't you just take all this time that you need, as much as time as you need? I'm like, thank you. We got out of the car, we pulled in together, we hugged each other, and we're like, cool, I'm back on my game.
Okay.
Let me start little by little. So, and then I was able to expose and be more honest with you on how I was truly feeling, because what you did is you gave me this opportunity to feel safe with you.
Yes.
Instead of being like, oh shit, I can't really tell him what I feel, because now he's going to even more get pissed off and more impatient with me. So what you did when we both got out of the car was give me the safety zone. And when you hugged me and said, take as much time as you need, I know you're committed. You've worked hard. You told me all these positive things. Yeah. And I'm like, I know I do. I know. I just need these couple of days, because what goes up must come down. And right now I'm not in this space, right? So you hugged me. So you gave me the opportunity, the comfort to expose myself even more.
I love that.
With you, that I knew you weren't going to throw back in my face.
And I think that was key, and that's detrimental. Now, a lot of this comes because we have a lot of big projects coming up in the horizon. A lot of them that puts us out of our comfort zone, financially, time-wise. They're big decisions that are coming our way. So, when we have so many moving parts, like these are true feelings coming out here. Of course, we're going to find some of that doubt. We're going to find some of that fear. But just a really great lesson for us, because, man, what we've been able to do is to navigate through the storm. Like, we have a map to be able to navigate through the storm. And it's not just being, like the Wizard of Oz, the House of Wizard of Oz, where it's all over the place. It is intentional, and we know where we're going, and we're able to go through it faster. And oftentimes it's the fastest point from between two places is a straight line. And that's what we're doing. We're not all over the place, sabotaging our growth, sabotaging our business. And again, that's one of the main things that sabotages small businesses is the relationships at home.
Right.
And calling the other person out of how committed they truly are, especially if you're running a business with your spouse, and saying things like, I can't count on you, you're not committed, you're never going to be all the way in. And it's like the things that I could have easily brought up, and all we would have done is taken 5 steps back.
Right.
Because I understand at the end of the day, you're like the most committed. I'm the one who has to question my own commitment. But that space is so important.
Right.
And like, this is awesome. And now, like, we even had a conversation. We're like, dude, now it's go time. Like if you've seen something before, that's nothing compared to where we're going, because we had to go through that. We had to face the collisions. We had to face the darkness. And now it's like clarity.
Yeah.
Without this, there would be no clarity. Without this, there would still be more doubt. And now we know exactly what to do until the next time.
I just remember there was a time in my life, a couple of years back. Oh man, it was hard. I remember even coming at you and being like, I can't talk to you. I can't say anything to you. You don't listen.
You hold it back. You hold it against me.
You're like, you hold it against me. You throw it in my face. Like, I just want to talk to someone. And of course, I didn't. I never talked to anyone because I couldn't get out. I was uncomfortable. But in the one I wanted to talk to was truly you, because you were my best friend. And it was just hard. So, but now it was like, that moment when I got out of the car yesterday and you hugged me and you're like, hey, take as much time as you need. I didn't mean any of that. It was like, I know you didn't. I know you didn't. And let me tell you what's really going on. Yeah. So I was able to open myself more to you. But anyway.
Yeah, when you're able to share like all this baggage that we carry, right? You're able to stand taller. And going through this dark space allows you to do that, to like unhinge, let go, take off, right?
Yeah.
Undress. It's exactly that. And we have a couple questions here or comments of some sort. I can't see that far. Is there any way that you can?
I got you.
Okay.
You want to know who it is?
Yeah, let's go ahead and read it to us. Hopefully they can catch a little bit of that. What is
Ben Barlow.
Okay.
Why is that so much of what women feel about themselves personally has to carry over into unnecessary arguments with us men? Carla, you take that.
Why is that much of what
like
women
what you're going
feel?
through personally? You know, because our thing is just to be able to say, oh, she's emotional, or she's this, she's got some problems.
Oh, so, okay, let me see if I answer this right. You're wanting to know why a lot of our insecurities, our anger go on to the men? Is
Pretty
that what
much,
it is?
yeah.
Because we're embarrassed. We're embarrassed, and I don't know if I want to use the word shameful, but we're embarrassed to expose the truth of what is truly going on with us.
So you're almost circumventing your truths and kind of making it their problem without them knowing that it's your problem.
Yeah, that it's your problem. I snap and say little comments at AZ just to, I don't know, make it his problem.
When I have no idea what it is.
Right, and I want the light off me. I don't want it to shine on me, because even in my house when I'm moody, the kids would be like, why is mom, off or in a bad mood? And I don't know.
It's real easy for me to say she's just in a bad mood, but
yeah, I'll just somehow,
I have no idea.
By my attitude, I'll try to say something where the light is off me and on AZ. I mean, I'm trying to think. I know that I snapped on him on one thing, and AZ's like, how did this turn on me? But I purposely did it just because I was truly mad about something else, and I had an attitude problem with him on something I could find.
And it really comes down to...
So it gets really confusing in a relationship,
well,
right?
And here's the
what
thing.
are you really mad about? And
well, yeah, and it comes down to, are you allowing where you really get to know your wife? Like, what are the trigger points? What are the things from the past maybe? There's certain patterns that we all adjust to as adults. And it stems from our young adult years, our teenage years, even as children, right? So me knowing more about Carla and her history, she has every right to feel the way she does. I can't take that away from her, because those are the realities. She's feeling that way right now, and that's the way it should be. And it's not my job to dictate what she should be feeling like. So I think a lot of that is just understanding that it's not for you to figure out, Ben, or against us as men. It really is that you have to allow the space for her to face her darkness or real frustrations. And oftentimes it has nothing to do with the trash you refuse to throw out,
Ben,
or the help around the house.
I just remembered. So a really good example. We just described my whole entire funk this couple of days, but yesterday I came in I text AZ in the morning about 7 or 8 in the morning. I was like, hey, get the studio ready. I'm going to record. I get into the office and I'm like, shit, AZ's in the studio and he's doing his coaching calls. And I had things to do. I had appointments. And so I take off. I come back. AZ's still in the effing studio.
My afternoon appointments.
So I'm in my office and I don't know, doing my thing, right? So as soon as I get a hold of AZ, I'm like, I rush to take my girls to volleyball. I come back to the studio about 5 o'clock, and I had told these guys, set me up. I'm going to do a video. I need to get some content out there, right? So AZ is in the room setting things up with them and whatnot. And I don't know, and just him and I, and the staff leaves, and I look at him and I'm like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving because I asked to set this up. I'm gone. Like, you completely threw me off my game. I asked in the morning. I can't do this shit at 5:30. Like, so he's like, what just happened right now? So I get in my car and I drive off. Well, I asked myself on the way home, what did I truly want to make that video from the beginning? Or was I coming up with all these excuses to say, you were in the studio, you took up all this time, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, right? And because of you, we need to figure something out. We need to get some schedule going. I fell behind because of you. And so he's just like, you had all morning. I literally left for like 5 hours and you still didn't utilize the studio. Because I really had to ask myself, was I really going to go in there when I was going through this whole funk? Like, I really wasn't going to, but I wanted to lash out on him because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I fell behind on my game, and I feel like, shit, I'm falling behind on my game. Let me go to him and say X, Y, and Z, and because of you, and when reality was just me. So it goes back to, like, truly, I had to be honest with him, like, hey, I really wasn't gonna make that video. I'm in such a dark fucking place right now, and nothing in my brain makes sense. My brain is on fire, and I told you that. My brain is on fire, and I don't know what I need to do, and I feel so behind, like there's so much going in my brain. And so he, again, if he would have like argued with me,
lashed out or something,
it would have became an argument.
So Ben, it's not like, and it's real easy to say, why do women do this to men or whatever? Dude, it really comes down to, like, I know a few 100 times that I've done that as well. When something triggered me in business or by a client or by a customer or by this, that, or, and I just want to lash out, when in reality it had nothing to do with her. It was everything to do with me. So again, finding that space and just understanding that it has nothing really to do with you. And again, it's not about the trash. It's not about helping around the house. It's not about this, that, or the other. It really is about something normally deeper than that. And Carla, you have a book that really navigates women, and it works for men, but this is more directed towards women, which we'll be talking about at your event, August 26th and 27th here in Phoenix, Arizona. So if you are a fan of Do the Work, and if you are a woman, you do qualify to attend this.
Well,
and it's an immersion process, which is very different. This is not a seminar by any means. You're actually going to be working hand in hand with Carla to go down to these spots, these dark places, the places of light, and everything in between, to find your power and then learn the techniques and processes to maintain that power. And when you find that obstacle that kind of holds you back, how to get through it, like Carla just did, something that used to take her 2 months or so, now within days.
You weren't here, but I reverted. I had to make a video on some of the things I wrote in here because I had to go back to getting to know me all over again. Like, some of us take, a couple of steps back, and I'm like, shit, I've been in this place before. So I went back and started reading some of my quotes, actually, just before you walked in here. But yeah, it took me back.
Well, I just went to a page that you creased up, and I'm going to go ahead and read it here. I had to come happy and fulfilled so I can be that way towards my husband. I had to get a backbone, a voice. I had to stand up for myself regardless of what was coming my way. I couldn't live life based on other people's opinions. To be the woman I am today, I had to go through the ugliness, through a lot of hate, through a lot of bullshit from others talking behind my back, losing friendships, even family members. In order to get the woman I am today, it took having to go through all that to understand that I might break up my marriage and my family. But I had to love myself more to get the respect I needed. I've worked hard for the respect, and I will not turn back now that I found my voice. And again, this is the book. This is your book. It's made a hell of an impact on the individuals that attended the first event. And again, if you want more information, or you men that are follow us and listen to our podcast, go to dothework.com, women's event. Encourage your spouse to go here. I'm telling you, this is going to be life-changing, and it's not a seminar. It's going to be an immersion process, and you're going to come out with a better person on the other side. The breakthroughs, the concepts, and the techniques Carla herself uses, she'll be explaining this book. And right now, there's it's at a really low price. So grab your tickets now before they do go up. Carla, like this was a great conversation. I'm glad we were able to talk about it and share our experiences. Ben, I want to thank you for participating in this and asking these great questions. What's going on, Dallas? How are you, my
Hi,
brother?
Dallas.
And, for those, again, if you want more information, go to dothework.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And
Good or bad.
Yeah, that's okay.
Just rate.
Yeah, just rate us. And if this served you, please share it.
And plug your Twitter.
Oh, you can follow me on Twitter. Do you have a Twitter? You
I
can
do have a
tweet me
Twitter.
at Carla Araujo 4810. What's your tweet?
Mine's AZ Araujo 2. AZ Araujo 1, somebody took it, but I have azaraujo.com, so I'm not concerned about it. So, all right, guys, thank you for joining us for another episode of Do the Work podcast, and I will talk to you soon.